Hello everyone and welcome to Smalland with me, your host Crypto Gamer, and today guys, we are going to be checking out Smalland as a former grounded player. So this is basically another Honey I Shrunk the Kids sort of survival game, except a lot more in depth and with a lot more mechanics. And so we're going to check it out and see what we think of it, guys. So wish me luck. If you do enjoy the video, guys, remember to please like, share and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. And also leave comments and let me know what you think of the said video. So it appears that there was a hornet attack and we have to go now to report to a captain and actually figure out the mystery of why we were attacked. And so, once I pressed the OF bumper as well, I found out I had a very special sort of resource site that allows me to find resources within the area and to harvest them easier, and to also see hostile and non-hostile enemy bugs. So far so good. I actually think it looks really beautiful, and I really like the fact as well that it did give me the ability to go into first person as well. Overall, I actually do quite like the look of this game. It seems more realistic, even though it's set in sort of an elvish sort of world. But I do like how clean and crisp everything looks. It looks really beautiful. And I can't wait to see what more of the creatures actually look like. The ladybirds so far look really nice as well. So of course, with all survival MMOs, we're going to have to gather resources. So at this point in time, I decided I was going to collect as many sprigs and as many pieces of wood as humanly possible, along with other resources throughout the world. And so these little owl totem poles seem to be like, well, an owl effigy as it's called here, seems to basically point you in the direction of how to do different things within the game, such as me checking out the map here, which I think is quite handy. Little helping markers along the way that'll introduce you to new mechanics in the game, along with the NPCs. Now this is a bit of a big difference compared to Grounded, of course, where there are very few actual NPCs in the game that aren't hostile. It's a lot more of a basic sort of system. And look at this, we've got a small pond area. Now I did learn very quickly as well that if you go into water, your character doesn't like it and it will eventually kill you. So you can drown in the game, which I thought was quite interesting. This is obviously to create more water hazards and to just make you traverse the map a bit more in its own sort of style. Overall, I've found the UI at the moment a little bit difficult to get a handle on, but over the last few days I've been playing it a little bit more, as you'll see later on in the videos. And overall I have been beginning to actually quite enjoy myself, especially sort of figuring out the lore in this little land. And so this was me testing out first person for the first time, which, as I said before, made me incredibly happy that you could play this game in first person, as it makes things like archery a lot easier, especially if you're using any projectiles within a survival game such as this. Or even if you just want to be able to parry properly as well, it can be quite handy too. And so now the game's telling me about tombstones. Basically, when you die in this game, you will leave a wee marker on the map and you will be able to recover your goods. Unless you are wearing or using something, having it equipped, you will drop everything in your inventory. So if you've got anything unique or very difficult to get your hands on, it's definitely worth going back to collect your remains from a grave. And so now I got to create my first hatchet, which I could use to cut down these edible mushrooms. And it was a small wooden one, which was pretty cool as well. And so now I have my wee axe equipped. Let's get some of these mushrooms taken down. I did find it a wee bit interesting to figure out how the hotbar worked, and once I figured it out, it actually made the game a lot easier. So I will be assigning tools in one section and then weapons and then aid in the next. And so far so good. The UI, once you get the hang of it, It's not too bad, but it is definitely a little bit of a learning curve, at least for me anyway, just getting into a new game. And so at this point, I made my way as quickly as I could up this hill. I was also checking out for any extra new resources I hadn't came across yet. And now that we're up at the top of the hill, we can now go and speak to this person that we need to speak to and let him know about what's been going on down by where we were attacked by the hornets. And from here, he is also going to give us the ability to produce our first set of armor, which was quite cool. And he will give us instructions to go and find the village Eldar as well in order to tell him the news and figure out what we're going to be doing next. So we were going to need some fiber in order to make some padded bracers and some other pieces of padded armor as well. And I only had enough for 2 or 3 pieces of armor, and then that was it. I was going to have to go out and collect more resources, which is what we'll do shortly, guys. With our armor equipped, we were basically good to go and to carry on with our little adventure out. Back down the mountain and towards the new Elder's Cave. At this point, I decided that I was going to start off by going out and finding myself a tree that I could make my very first small base on. And as you can see, most of these trees that have all these toadstools around, and they have a map marker on the compass and on the map itself, showed me where I could find these trees that I could build on. And so this was going to be where I was going to plan on building my first base. And so I would have to build myself a builder's hammer, and then from there, once I equipped said hammer, I would then be able to start actually producing foundations, walls, and eventually ceilings. So the first thing I did without putting any foundations down, which was a silly idea, was to produce my first fire. But at least we had built something in the first place. And here we go, finally our first foundation, everyone. And as you can see, it has now gotten a bit darker. And so we will start getting more of these foundations placed down. And so of course it took me a wee minute to figure out how to actually place all this, but once I got there, it was just a case of learning to move everything on its axes and then just carrying on from there. So I made myself a very, very baseline wall and ceiling and roof. And then from there, I had to learn how to rotate all the different items. So I managed to get myself a couple of walls put down, and then I almost forgot to put down a doorway, but after it took me a wee moment, I managed to get there. And there we go, our first doorway. It's not much, but it's a basic wee home. And now let's see about getting the ceiling put on at this point. It took me a bit longer to figure out how to do ceilings a bit better, but that was me, and there was our first little home. Well guys, if you have enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. As well as that, make sure that you have the notification bell rung on, and if you want to see more of my videos, please come and check out more. This has been Crypto Gamer. I hope you all have a great day. Peace out.